Hello everyone, welcome back to this class, and in this class we will discuss the control surface sizing. But before that, in the last class we have done the wing sizing and wing placement. In that only horizontal tail has been sized. So in this class we will first size the vertical tail and then we'll go for a control surface sizing. Okay, so procedure is similar. You select the aspect ratio first, and generally the range is 1 to 3, and you select the area ratio from the literature from 10% to 30%. We have taken 20 percentage, and since we have already know the wing area, then you can vertical tail area you can find out. Now in our case it is coming 3.56, and use this relation aspect ratio equal to b square base by s. You will find out the span of the vertical tail, and now you can draw the rough sketch of a vertical tail. So area we have found out and span we have found out, and now we look for a vertical tail root chord and vertical tail tip chord with the same procedure. Okay, so use SV equal to 1 by 2 BVT CRVT plus CTVT. Here we have not divided by 2 because it is not the wing and not the horizontal tail, only one part you have. Okay, so if you put vertical tail area, vertical span, and same here you take taper ratio is a 0.7, you will end up to root chord of the vertical edge is 1.82 meter, and use the ratio CT by CR equal to lambda. You will find out the tip chord of the vertical tail. So now this the vertical tail will typically look like this, where you can find out this angle also using the geometry, and before that we can find out the mean aerodynamic chord, which is 2 by 3 CR 1 plus lambda square divided by 1 plus lambda. General expression you can find out for the vertical tail also. It is coming 1.55, and position of the chord is around 0.55 meter using this expression. Okay. Now you can locate this mean aerodynamic chord, and from this geometry you can find out what is my angle. Actually this angle, because this angle is very important. Here you will put the dorsal fin. Okay, dorsal is used to provide the stability, lateral stability of the aircraft, like you have seen in the fish, like that inspire the researcher and scientists to use the dorsal fin in vertical sail. Similarly, ventral fin is designed, which is used to put the just below the vertical tail in order to provide the yaw damping, okay, and yaw stability also. Okay. So this way the vertical tail has been sized. So we have done with the wing sizing and horizontal tail sizing and vertical tail sizing, but in all case you have seen the one is control surface is attached with the tail. In horizontal case it is an elevator, and in a vertical case it is a rudder, and in wing case it is a aileron. So these known as a primary control surface of the aircraft, but here we will size the control surface in order to provide the sufficient control for a to go the aircraft from one position to another position, or if any disturbance comes then it should counter the same. So many aircraft has been sized and many data has been collected, and the control power has been checked, and the data is published. You can see here, based on the historical data, you can see the control surface area by lifting surface area for an elevator. It is uh, ranges from 15 percentage to 40 percentage, and aileron in 3% to 12, and rudder for 15% to 35 percentage. Okay, and control surface for elevator, the span ranges from 0.8 to 1, 80 percentage to 100 percentage, and the aileron ratio to span is around 0.2 to 0.4, and rudder span to vertical tail span is around 0.7 to 1, and control surface chord you can see for a elevator case it is the ratio of elevator chord to horizontal chord is 0.2 to 0.4, and for aileron case it is 0.15 to 0.3, and for the rudder case it is 0.15 to 0.4. And you can see the control surface deflection, the limit is also given where the elevator limit is minus 25 and plus 25, and for aileron case plus 20 degree down and 25 degree up, and here for rudder case plus minus 30 degree. Minus 30 degree that is considered to be right, and plus 30 degree is considered to be the left. Okay, so these are the historical data already published. From this data you can take the ratio, and already you have a wing area, what vertical tail area, horizontal tail area. So with respect to that you can size the control surfaces, and you have a span of a wing, span of a horizontal tail, and span of a vertical tail. So based on this you can size for a aileron, elevator and rudder span, and you have a chord of a wing and horizontal tail and vertical tail. So based on this you can size the control surface chord. Okay, and apart from this historical data, there is some kind of requirement also can come. For example, if the requirement is given, you have to have a bank to almost 60 degree, 45 degree or 80 degree within a 3 second. That is the requirement. So how you can do? So we can consider this simple rolling moment equation here. So you can write L equal to half rho V square S B into CL. The detailing I will do in the flight stability and control part, but as of now you can consider this equation. And rolling moment you can write Ixx, moment of inertia about the roll axis, into P dot. P is a roll rate. Okay, half rho V square S, and dot denotes the derivative here. Here you can write CL naught, CL beta into beta, CL P into P B divided by 2V. Okay, and here you can write CL delta A into delta A. This part, this part, this part, this part, all I will explain you in the stability and control part of this course. Okay, CL beta is roll stability derivative, CLP is provide the damping derivative in roll case, and this is CL delta is a control power, that also we will calculate when we will do the aircraft stability and control part. But as of now you can consider. Okay, so Peter, now this you take some velocity at which you are flying. Okay, so this value remains a constant, and if you divide it by x, this also will be the constant. You consider this as a k, and now as of now you consider no beta. Okay, and you don't have any manufacturing defect and all, so your CL naught you can be considered as a 0. So you will have a only CLP PB divided by 2V into CL delta A into delta A. Only one equation you have a. Okay, and this you can write phi dot equal to P. This phi dot will be the P. So if you integrate the equation 1, you will get the P value, and if you integrate this equation 1, you will get the phi value. Okay, again I am repeating, P is a roll rate and phi is a bank angle. Okay, so now this is the aileron. Let's say you have given the 5 degree, you want to roll this side, right? Positive roll. So give, for example, let's say I am giving 5 degree down aileron and 5 degree up aileron this side. So here lift will increase, here lift will decrease, here L plus delta L will be there, and here L minus delta will be there, and this is how it will roll the aircraft. But let's say you have given at a time t1, and you have given the deflection plus 5 degree, and you have hold the aileron to a uh, uh, some second, for example like a 2 to 3 second, and bring back the aileron into the neutral position. So here you given plus 5, and then bring back this into the neutral position, and then when you will see depending upon the aircraft, the aircraft bank angle start building, and that may attain some value that can be phi equal to 30 degree, 40 degree, 50 degree, 60 degree, depending upon what the control you have given, 5 degree or 10 degree or 15 degree. And this is phi versus time. And similarly, if you plot roll rate, so roll rate will build up, it will attain some value, and then finally it will go down to 0, and you are attending this phi p, and this is time. Okay, till the requirements will be given to you, like for example, I want to roll my aircraft 60 degree within a 3 second. So keeping this in mind, you have to size the aileron. For example, let's say if you are not getting this, your requirement is 60 degree in a, let's say, 5 second, but you are not getting, instead you are getting 15 degree, then what you will do? You will increase the either aileron deflection, but let's say even if you are deflecting the full aileron, you are not getting this requirement. So what you will do? You will go back to your design and you will resize this aileron. It is not just the historical perspective you have to size the aileron, but you have to look at into the what the requirement is coming, what the requirement comes, and what is the requirement actually. Based on that, you have to size your the aileron. Okay. And in when you, this is the aileron case, and when you go for the rudder case, then I will tell you later in the flight stability and control part, you will size your rudder based on the wind requirement, because what wind changes, wind will beat the side slip angle, and you have to kill the side slip angle, and that is why rudder should be enough powerful in order to counter the wind. This is all about the control surface sizing. Thank you so much.